What a crazy, beautiful life this is. My better half Stacy and I are going on the most epic adventure we've ever been on. We're gonna drive through the entire United States and then down through Mexico all the way to Belize. And yes, we're bringing our pooch Tonka. We're trading cold winters in Canada for the beautiful beach vibes of Belize. We just sold the travel trailer and now we need to sell the truck. We bought a used minivan that Stacy isn't happy about at all. Never thought I'd be the proud owner of a minivan. Well, I'm not technically proud at all, so just owner. Anyway, next up is getting the house ready and listed to rent. After that, it's getting my ducks in a row for a trip across the pond to Latvia. And we gotta do all of this while Stacy and I navigate selling a bunch of stuff. We have way too much stuff and getting things in order to boogie across the continent. If you're new here, I'm Jay and I've been doing print on demand for about 10 years and I'm trying to help people like you get into it so you can experience more of what life has to offer instead of just working till almost 70 years old and then hoping you're healthy enough to enjoy your next 10 or 15 years. What a ripoff, right? Life is short, so don't waste it working to make someone else rich in a 9-to-5. Please give me a like and sub down below so I can keep this going. If you don't know, we decided to sell our 3-bed, 3-bath house in suburbia almost 4 years ago and move out to the country. We downsized our way into a 2-bedroom house on 3/4 of an acre with a fire pit and room for Tonka to run, all without the confines of that, suburban 30-foot wide backyard. I mean, he would take 3 gallops and he'd be at the fence. For the first time, we were mortgage free. But when COVID hit, we had to put our lives on hold in a big way. We were worried, we watched, we waited, but unlike most of the world, we didn't have the fear of losing our jobs. Our worries were very different. At first, I was like, no friggin' way would I want to be handcuffed to a brick and mortar and not be able to travel. Well, enter the pandemic, the POD shortages, the closing of the borders, which totally kiboshed our plans to do any more traveling anyway, and you just basically created the perfect storm where we needed to pivot in a massive way. So I called my buddy and he happened to have a line of really good used printing equipment. A beautiful Brother DTG machine and a pre-treat machine and a brand new conveyor dryer, a heat press, all basically to the tune of like $40,000. When life gives you lemons, go into debt, right? So there we were, back into debt in a big way. But since we knew we could get actual inventory and basically had our own print shop now, we were in a unique position while hundreds of thousands of other PODers were simply screwed. Anyway, about 1.5 years ago when the world kind of opened up again, we went down to Belize again as soon as we could. We were itching, but this time we used some of the equity in our house and bought a half-acre lot on a small little island called Caye Caulker. We were thinking about selling our house here in Ontario and using that money to start building on our lot. But after thinking about it and learning more, I realized that all the people who were doing really well financially didn't do it from selling their real estate. They did it by buying and then renting out. Or if they did sell, they got creative and did some things like vendor financing, which was a new term I learned last year, where they essentially became the bank or lender and sold their properties, but they would take a down payment and then charge interest on the remaining on a mortgage that they would hold themselves, just like the big banks do it. So that's something we're now thinking about too. What would you guys do? There's no capital gains tax or anything like that like there is insanely here in Ontario. You guys have any tips or great ideas? This is very newish to us and I want to build real wealth in different ways. So if you have creative ideas or experiences in this department, please let me know. In the meantime, we decided to become landlords and rent out our house here in Canada and become renters ourselves in Belize for at least 1 year or so, just to make sure it's all gonna work out and see if we even like it as much as we think we will. That way we still have a house in Canada to come back to if we change our minds. Stacy's pretty convinced that we're probably never coming back, or at least not coming back for a good long while. And while it's a bit daunting to think about, I kind of hope she's right. And everyone we talk to who's done the move all say that they only wish they had done it sooner. All of this is very much outside our comfort zones, but I think I'm just getting used to being outside of my comfort zone because, well, life is too bloody short not to try new things. And the more adventurous Stacy and I have become, the more successes and small victories we've experienced along the way. Win-win, right? So now the clock is ticking. We have to go through some rental applications, which is also friggin' nutso. I can't believe we're gonna be landlords, but hopefully we get a lease signed in the next 2 weeks so I can stop stressing about this and actually start tackling other things on the to-do list. I'll update where we're at in a week or so, but in the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions about the process of buying in Belize or driving through North America or anything really. We're gonna document it all anyway, but if you guys have any specifics you wanna know, then at least I'll make sure to give you what you actually wanna see. Remember to like and sub, and we'll see you in the next one.